So is doing Google searches a tech demo? I don't know if that's really going to qualify for it. But let's start here. So here's 10 blue links. You can see this Google search that's actually nothing but 10 blue links. This is an endangered species if you've been using Google for search. Like now, if you search for something like, for example, if you search for best sci-fi movies, you get a result like this, where Google is saying, I know what you want. It's not going to be in these 10 blue links. It's going to be something like, there's no Tron in here? Good Lord. This demo is over. So we noticed at Moz, we noticed that they were pushing more and more into searches that look like this, but very localized. So if you search for food carts and you're in Portland, they're going to give you this local carousel at the top with all of some of the most highly rated food carts and ones that they can locate within Portland. And that search is going to be different than if you're in Olympia and you're in Seattle or you're in Canada. They're really pushing hard to decide that you want a map of food carts. Apparently you want to buy your own food cart. And all of these other neat results. So they're, for lack of a better term, they're really pimping out search results like this. And a lot of it's based on the location layer. And so when I look at this, I'm going, okay, well, at Moz we were like, well, this is kind of the future of SEO, right? If they're going to give us results based on where you're located, who you are, and all of these different things, then we want our analytics software to reflect that. And as it turns out, as I switch over to this is huge, right? This is 7.6 billion searches every month on local, 20% of them on desktop, 50% of them on mobile, but that's a lot of localized searches. And Google has actually said, we expect mobile search traffic to actually eclipse desktop search traffic by the end of this year. So they're going to see more on phone and more on tablet than they will on desktop for the first time ever. So that's crazy, and you're going, okay, well, what does this have to do with local? This ecosystem for local is crazy. Like, this is like the old school internet yellow pages kind of ecosystem. Google and Facebook and Foursquare and Apple and all of these companies, they get all of their local data from data aggregators. They get it from Infogroup and Axiom and Localese and Factual. And if you've never heard of these companies, they're sort of like internet yellow pages or internet directories, which contain name, address, and phone number of all of the local businesses that Google and Apple and everybody can find. So being listed accurately in these four providers especially, but all of these data systems, is how, if you're a local business, you're going to get found in Google Local and Google Maps and on all these mobile devices, and you're going to be right on Foursquare and all of this. And so trying to tackle this problem for Moz, we launched something called Moz Local. And here's what it does. Moz Local basically says, we will submit your local business listing to those four major data providers. And if it's accurate in Infogroup and Localese and these four providers, then Google will know how to list you. You'll get in that local carousel at the top of the search results. And that's different than saying, well, I thought I just needed a good website and some links and make sure my keywords are right and that I have good content. This is like a totally different world that we think is very hard for especially smaller business owners to understand. So we launched Moz Local, and I'll go back to it and show you what that's about. We run a service called Get Listed. This all started with a service that we bought called Get Listed, where you could enter your business name and a zip code, and you can do this for free on our website on Moz Local. As soon as the pin drops, it's good animation. There's trees. So you choose an accurate listing. Like, there's all of these different things from Moz, and if you choose the listing, you see the pin drop again. There's a Yeti, some other trees, cloud, stuff, live tech demos. Okay, so we tell you, okay, for that listing in that location, here's your current score. Here's what's complete, incomplete, inconsistent. Here's what's a duplicate. Here are all the services like Google. You're not listed on Google+. And this is pretty embarrassing since we're Moz. Foursquare, we're there. So yeah, this is a great service, and you should try it. And then all of these services, you need to get all of this right to get so that Google has the trust and that Facebook and Foursquare and Apple have the trust to say, I know this business, I know their hours, I know their phone number, I know their address. This is how you get visible and rank highly in local search. This year we launched Moz Local, and what Moz Local does is it says, okay, if you upload a CSV of all your locations, if you're REI or Sears or even like a local chain here, we will submit these for $49 a year per location to all of these different data services. And this is a dramatic price decrease. A service like EX charges $499 a location. Our nearest competitor charges $89. Like, we really said, okay, we just want people to come and use the service. We'll cut the profit out of it, and then we show you on your dashboard the status of whether or not you're updated. So this is great if you're doing marketing on behalf of local businesses, and you know what you're doing. You can get a CSV with all of this accurate name, address, and phone number information. what we're searching for, the big picture vision is, how can we get this to small business owners and very small businesses who are like, I don't really have time or know how to do this sort of internet marketing. How am I going to be able to do this? And that's the big picture, is getting this from this CSV upload to actually in the hands of small business. So that's Moz Local.
Questions?
Wow, no questions. Sure.
I happen to work at a commercial real estate company, and one of the big problems that we have all the time are companies want to set up somewhere. They want to find out who their competitors are, or they want to find out what industries are in that particular area. So they may say, like, okay, we want to put a shop on this street. We want to know if there's no shoe store or liquor store or something on that street. Is there a way to do it? You're asking for the name, or you're asking for an address. I'm asking for a street. What I want to do is I want to get the analytics and find out how many shoe stores, how many bars, how many whatever is on that street, what their names are.
Right.
First hook up through your company?
No, we don't provide that. The best way that I know how to do that, I'm not sure if there's an automated way to do it, is to use Google Place's search nearby function, where you can go and you can set down a center order. You can put a pin down there and be like, okay, show me like liquor stores nearby or shoe stores or a different business. And you can actually output the listing of that in Google Places or Google Maps into, you can export it into whatever data format you want. But that's probably going to be the best way to do that sort of like precisely located what's nearby specific business type lookup. One thing that I should actually add to that is one thing that we do that on behalf of local businesses that speaks to that is we normalize and standardize the categorization across all the different services like Google, Axiom, Foursquare, Factual. These are all different categories, and to rank in those different, like if you want to rank in super pages, Asian restaurants is different than restaurants, than Asian fusion restaurants in Google. These are all different, and so you search for one thing in Google Places, it's not necessarily the same category in Foursquare or Apple or any of these other services. So this is a huge problem to tackle across the local ecosystem.
I just want to provide a comment. It's probably okay that you're not on Google+.
Do you want a real answer to that? So the Google is pushing everybody in all of their search rankings on both a social and a location layer to Google+. Even if you don't use it as a social network, they're going to ensure that for visibility and to trust who you are. For SEO across the board, local and any other kind of SEO, there's...
Well, it's like YouTube and everything else is forcing you to use it.
We will be assimilated. It's going to happen.